What's up, guys? Welcome back to Let's Play Bioshock Infinite! So, on our way to Monument Island, we might as well just pass through the Columbia Raffle and Fair here. I mean, it couldn't hurt. And see what that, all the fuss is about. We'll just pass through harmlessly. Wow, looks like quite the spectacle. That must be that Jeremiah Fink guy everybody's talking about. Oh, well, if you insist.
Sorry, no sale.
Silly. There's never a charge for the raffle. You've been sleeping under a rock?
77.
Huh, I'll be damned.
77. That's a lucky number. I'll be rooting for you.
Bring me the bowl!
So this guy must be responsible for a lot of the technology we see here in Columbia.
All right then. The winner is number 77!
Well, what do you know?
Number 77, come and claim your
Huh.
prize!
Lucky us. Wait. What? Boo!
Come on! Are you gonna throw it? Or are you taking your coffee black these days? Oh!
Alright, you know what? Take this, you racist son of a bitch.
Wait! It's him!
Now, where'd you get that brand, boy? Don't you know that makes you the backstabbing snake in the grass false shepherd?
And we ain't letting no false shepherd into our flock. Show them what we got planned, boys!
Alright, looks like it's time to do what we do best. And that is to kill everyone we see! Alright, so we're finally getting into some combat here with the Columbia Police, and all of these guys have melee weapons except for the one guy that had the skyhook, which is our melee weapon now. And we melee with Y, we can deal, we can do execution moves when they get low enough on health. I'm going to skip all these guys and go for the one guy in this encounter that has a gun. And we'll try to get that as fast as possible, that way I can finish all these other guys. And these guys are really weak. These are what they call stage 1 enemies. And they're going to be pretty easy to take down. Now that I have the gun, I can take these guys out a lot easier. This is a Mauser C96, if I didn't say so before, and it has a actually a pretty big magazine. I mean, these things actually fed with a stripper clip back in the day, but they did make modified versions later on that had a proper magazine that fed from the bottom, much like the, I think it was the implementation of like the 1911 and stuff like that, which would have been around actually for this game, but it would have been horribly generic, considering how many other shooter games use the 1911. But yeah, no, it feeds from the bottom. Just pull back to the charging handle, and there you go. So it has a 12-round magazine, 9mm, not bad. It's very accurate, and it also is very rapid fire. And this is going to kind of set the tone of the combat in this game compared to the previous Bioshock games, because it's very, very fast and very furious. It's much more of a fast-paced shooter than the previous games were, more RPG style. That is out the window in this one, I'm afraid. So I just purchased something there from the vending machine, which obviously you would not do if you're going for that achievement to not buy anything. I want to go back and get some health because I accidentally ate a bad apple and lost some health there, so I want to go back and try to find some of that cart back there. What I just bought is a possession aid. They deliberately allow you to afford that at this point, and if you decide to buy it, it's substantially cheaper than all the other Vigor upgrades, and what it allows me to do is possess enemies instead of just machines. Had I not purchased that, I could still possess turrets and whatnot, but now I can possess enemies. And that's very helpful for possessing mainly just regular human enemies at this point, and it'll possess them until, you know, it runs out, and then they'll kill themselves. So it's basically an instant kill for one, and it also draws some aggro away from me. We're playing on 1999 mode, if I didn't say, so the damage modifiers are off the chart. Like, we are gonna deal like 25% of the damage we would normally deal, and they're gonna deal 75% of the damage, or they're gonna deal 75% more damage to me than they would on normal difficulty. So I messed up already. I had a bad death there, so that's not good. and every time you die in this game, you every enemy that is dead stays dead, but every enemy that is still alive gets fully healed. You get fully healed, or you don't get fully healed. You get like half healed, and you lose some money. That's the consequence in this game. It's a bit more of a steep consequence than in the previous Bioshock games, where literally nothing happens when you die. You just come back in the vital chamber and you lose a little bit of time backtracking to where you were. But in 1999 mode, you lose a whole $100 every time you die, and if you don't have enough money to afford your respawn, you get a game over. So 1999 mode is actually a pretty decent challenge, but you can't manually save in this either. So that's good in the sense you can't save in a place where you have no money and get yourself stuck in a rut, but you also cannot save in the middle of a firefight and preserve your progress if you are doing well. So I took out those guys again. I'm always going for headshots, but I have a ton of ammo for this thing right now too, so I can pretty much just fire away. I need to get some salts. I possess that turret. I can't possess that turret there because I don't have enough salts. Salts is what we use for the vigors instead of Eve in this game. Run over here and grab that health. Waiting for that turret to be facing that way before I start running again. Just like in the previous games, you can loot corpses and whatnot, you automatically pick up everything. You can't select manually, you know, what you want to pick up. Or maybe you can, I just haven't done it because I don't care to. Like I said, we don't have consumable health packs in this game, so whatever health we have, that's what we have. And I kind of like that. Again, it makes it more of an action game, less like an RPG, but it also makes it a little bit harder.
What's going on?
Because you could drop a health pack instantly in the previous games and be fully restored. Alright, introducing a new enemy type. This is the Fireman, and he is very tough. He has a lot of health, and he has a vigor upgrade. I mean, you know how we complained in the previous Bioshock games that not a lot of the splicers actually use plasmids against you despite how spliced up they are. Well, this guy will use a vigor on you that allows him to toss fireballs at you. And we made pretty short work of him there, but that's actually a pretty difficult encounter because the projectiles he throws at you with that vigor cause a lot of splash damage. And he can throw them pretty great distances too, but that's his only attack. He also has a suicide bomber attack, where after he is depleted on health, he'll try to explode right in your face. So let's go ahead and pick. Actually, he drops one from his corpse, but I decided to pick up this one so I could talk a little bit more here. This is the new vigor we get, the Devil's Kiss. It's very similar to the Incinerate from the previous Bioshock games, but instead of just casting it and you ignite an enemy on fire, it throws a fireball that explodes. So it's more like an offhand grenade throwing type of ability in this game, which again makes this more of a typical shooter, I know, but it works well for this game, and I actually am in favor of it. So I've actually got to wait for a couple guys at the top of the stairs there to spawn in and run down so they can open that gate for me, and it's taking longer than I expected, but thankfully that turret is there to run some interference. So this may seem as kind of a surprise, but much of the enemies in this game are very archetypical of enemies in the previous games. Like, we have dedicated melee combatants that come at us with the batons, and they are very similar to, you know, the splicers, what are the thuggish splicers that would come at you in melee. I'm going to be editing out these loading screens for the rest of the game, by the way. But you can notice some interesting things in these loading screens, like Booker's birth date and his, you know, his personal information, his little signatures there, his badge from the Pinkertons and all that. Pretty interesting. Some more kinetoscopes over here. Anyway, so you may see these guys who come charging at us even though we have a gun, and it's like, you know, they like, surely he must be out of ammo by now, and they just come charging at us. Huh. I've seen you guys before quite a few times now. There's got to be something to this. Now, again, this is one of those times where I really want to point out just how handicapped I am in this run compared to my other runs, because normally in this room, if I had the Day 1 DLC, I would have a power upgrade for the pistol and the pistol, machine gun, and the shotgun. And we also get a ton of gear in that room, and we get a ton of infusions. I just picked up one infusion and used it there. I like to, actually I didn't get an infusion quite yet. I got the shield upgrade, which is essentially it's a magnetic shield, works exactly the same as the recharging shields do in Halo or Destiny, any of those games. And again, it seems like such a generic design decision when you really think about it. But again, when you eliminate the consumable health packs, you really got to have something else in there. And I've always kind of been in favor of, if you're going to have the recharging health system thing, have an underlying, you know, depleting health underneath of that. So there I just demonstrated something called the Skyline Strike, and that is if you're hooked onto a stationary hook or even a skyline using the skyhook, you can drop off of the skyhook onto an enemy when the arrow highlights it. So we just picked up, we're going through a lot of stuff really fast here, so I'm trying to keep up. We just picked up a new weapon. We picked up the machine gun. This is called the Triple R, the something reciprocating repeater. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's the Founder's machine gun. It's kind of reminds me of the Sten gun, the way the magazine sits on the side there, but it's very steampunk and it's got an enormously long wooden stock on it, and it has a 35-round magazine. It has a pretty slow rate of fire for a machine gun, but it makes sense for the era when machine guns like this didn't really exist back in 1912. But yeah, it's decent. I mean, it's accurate if we aim down the sights, and it's better than our little pistol there. So I like the pistol for its accuracy, but this is not bad either. I will not be using this for most of the game, though. It's a decent weapon, but it's pretty ineffectual against bigger enemies later on. There is a turret over there on that barge. I'm going to try to use possession on it so I can get by. And I'm going to get over here and try to get some cover. I can't really see that well because there's all this smoke and all these clouds over here, and it's very hard to see, so I'm trying to get to a point where I'm safe and I don't take any damage from the turrets around me before focusing on these guys that dropped in from the other barge. Now there's a pool of oil here, and if I throw the Devil's Kiss on it, as you can see, it catches on fire, much like in the previous Bioshock games. But those contextual environment hazards are a lot less common in this game than they are in the previous games. You kind of just have to rely on the Vigors as they are, which is fine because every single Vigor in this game has a charge ability. You don't have to upgrade it to get these, so you can lay traps with every Vigor in the game. And how Devil's Kiss one works is you charge it up and then you deploy it, and if an enemy walks over it, it'll explode in a very large fireball and catch multiple enemies on fire. I'm probably not going to be using that on screen for a while, and I'll mention it again when I do. The Possession really does not have a charge ability, and so that kind of contradicts what I just said there. I'm trying to be very careful right here because I don't have a lot of health left. But yeah, they really streamlined the Vigor system to be more. There's fewer of them, but they can all be used in. There are fewer of them, but they're more refined, and they can all be used in more dynamic ways than the plasmids. And it's a very, very well done secondary power system for a game that I feel like, always had it going on as far as that goes. But like I said, that Day 1 DLC gives you a lot of infusions there, which allow you to increase your health and your max health and max shield and max salts, and I'll be showing one of those off on screen soon. If you see another Vigor bottle lying around, you pick it up after you already have it, you just get salts for it, but you get a lot of salts, so that's a fast way to replenish them. In this room, there's going to be another voxophone, so I want to go ahead and get that. And also, there is a chest here, which requires a key to open it. It's a locked secret chest. And the key is in another location, so that's going to be the first optional objective or side quest that we're going to have in this game. They are pretty basic, they're usually nothing substantial. This one is really easy. I love that guy's dialogue there. It's like, don't hurt me, I'm a progressive. But yeah, every one of those objectives like that, I'm going to try to do for the sake of the Let's Play. So if there is one that I forget, please let me know, guys. I'm going to try not to miss any of them. But obviously, much like in Bioshock 2, we can't backtrack in this game because this game is completely linear.